Hi guys, how's everyone doing? I hope y'all having a good Saturday. And today, this video is gonna be more a video talking about what happened to my server, 2009, and what happened to my tribe, and everything that kind of went down and led to the events that took place, the battle between Unrivaled versus Deja Vu, and really just kind of I guess to put an end to everything, because now I'm starting a new chapter in Arc, and it's a chapter that I'm excited for, and it's gonna be something new. But it's also a chapter that makes me sad because I really wanted our tribe to prosper, and I really wanted our tribe to be the last alpha tribe on the official cluster. I know a lot of people are rooting for us. I was getting DMs on my YouTube videos, even on Discord, people adding me saying, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on?" And I think a lot of people were wanted us to succeed and wanted us to be an actual competitive tribe on the cluster, but as you can tell from the making of this video and probably everything that's been going on in the art community, that's not the case, and the server ended up splitting. But we're going to start this from the beginning. So we ended up loading onto 2009 the day the Xbox servers were available. And we picked 2009 because we were just all in a Discord. We just rushed the server. We just flooded it, went in there, boom. We don't know who was building on our server. We didn't know anything. We honestly didn't know any of the mega tribes other than the main mega tribes that we personally do because of friends. One of those being we knew Box was playing. We knew Gang Gang obviously, and that was really it. We didn't really pay attention to a lot of the megas, so we were kind of just going in with it. We get on the server, we're having fun, and I think honestly we didn't realize that one of the tribes on the server called Deja Vu was anything big because they were built in South Zone. They had a very weird base, and there was a tribe on the server called 123, and those guys honestly were annoying. They built on Carno. They were taking advantage of all the amazing drops that fall on Carno. So they got C4 early, they got rockets early, they got everything early. And we ended up racing to claim the pillar, which I think ideally everybody was claiming. They were claiming it, Deja was trying to claim it, and 123 was trying to claim it. But we ended up getting there first. We fought for it just a little bit, really brief, fists and clubs and spear PvP just at the beginning. Nothing massive. We ended up taking it no problem. Maybe had to kill 3 or 4 people. Then after that, we get on there. We start setting up, and then we actually end up getting raided by 123 because they end up getting a yellow drop with that lucky 3C4 in it when we still had a stone base. And then on top of that, we just put our first turret on there, and our base was still made out of stone. So I ended up getting in with a 3C4, wiped us off pillar, but we still had so much spam on there that they could not take the pillar. So then we ended up going back and claiming our pillar a few hours later with 8 heavies and a couple of autos, and we had gotten a lot of our tames that we had ended up losing. You have to remember this was when no cryopods were available, so they just swarmed up there with RGs. They already had pump shotguns, which was wild because the drops were just busted. So they were basically kitted while we were still using primitive crossbows and bows. We didn't know how insane the drops were. I mean, we knew how insane the drops were from watching YouTube and watching Twitch videos of the people who were playing on the Steam servers when they dropped. But we didn't realize it was actually legitimately that easy to get basically a full PvP kit from the drops. So we end up taking it, and we end up building up, having a good time. We're just dealing with a lot of tame sniping. Us and Deja Vu aren't really having any beef right now. We're just kind of neutral, but Deja Vu was silently placing foundations around our pillar, and we saw that over the nights we would log on to be more foundations. So we knew these guys were planning something, because why else would you drop stone foundies around pillar unless you're planning on either fobbing it or you're planning on taking the pillar at some point. So we end up going there on a turret raft and we meet run them. I made a YouTube video on it, a YouTube short actually, and I made a TikTok on it of us meet running them with a turret raft, and we basically had them wiped. We were going to wipe them. We were going to claim the server. There's going to be one less tribe, but fate played a role in that in 2 ways, and one of those ways being that we actually ended up getting arced. The raft somehow got stuck on a foundation, and then my guy, when he was at the generator, when he went to go to it, when he was in the raft, he got teleported back in. So their base ended up getting saved. We ended up killing a lot of their flyers, a lot of their a lot of tames that they had. They were pretty crippled at that point. I wouldn't say pretty crippled, but they were at a point where we were definitely in good terms to go kill them. We ended up going later that night to have a cool pig fight over the South Zone, and when we did that, one of our friends ended up joining, his name being Robinson. As soon as you join the server, you know how people are when they join a server, they say something dumb and global when they want to get recruited. So he ends up saying that, and one of the guys from Deja actually knows this guy. So by knowing my friend Robinson at the time, this ends up putting a halt to the whole uh, Unrivaled versus Deja. We end up becoming basically like allies in a sense because like it would be kind of controversial to attack your friend, you know. So we end up having a good time. We're chill. Everything is like relaxed and calmed down. We're building up the server, but 123 that lives on Carno is still a problem. We end up going to Carno together, Deja Vu and Unrivaled, and together we have our first blue tag ally raid on to take the people off Carno. Now, the raid on Carno was epic. I thought it was awesome. The way we stormed the beach. If you haven't seen my video on how we became Alpha Week 1, you should check it out. We ended up taming a Titan to take over to Carno to stomp their base. And we ended up wiping them that night. It didn't take us too long to wipe them, but they ended up popcorning everything, which really sucked. But at the end of the day, the goal was really just to get them off the server so both Unrivaled and Deja Vu could build up the server and not worry about any drama. I would say probably about a week after that happened, uh, the guys in Deja at the time ended up doing what I would call poaching tribe members. They ended up convincing some of our tribe members that knew the leadership in that tribe at the time on the server to come join them. So we ended up losing like a group of 10 people to go join their tribe. Now there was a lot of drama on why they wanted to leave the tribe. They wanted to leave the tribe because we ended up recruiting a lot of people, a lot of friends of friends. So it was really chaotic. At the time, we didn't really have good tribe structure because when we first started on the server, we started with like probably like 30 or 40 people, but 30 or 40 close people, you know, so everybody knew each other, everybody knew what was going down. And then we ended up adding on like an additional 30 all at once. And I'm pretty sure you guys know as you play, when you do that, there's always a lot of drama. People don't know where things are. If you don't have tribe structure, you don't have ranks, you don't have things locked up, things are just going to go missing. People's tames are going to get taken, people's loot's going to get taken, etc. So on our part, we didn't do a good job at organizing, I think, that at the time. And that's really the ultimate thing that kind of led to that group of people leaving the tribe to go join Deja. About 2 weeks after that go by, we're doing fine. And then the guys in Deja, uh, in the tribe, when they're still part of Deja Vu, end up blue tagging this tribe called Baby Yoda. When they end up blue tagging this tribe, it ended up putting a real sour taste in our mouth. At the time, we wanted to fight Baby Yoda legit because we were talking with them. We were saying, hey, we probably should get rid of this tribe. We should just own the server and just have it be us, one less competition and taking resources, blah blah blah. So we're like, okay, so we're in a VC talking to the leaders of the Deja tribe on 2009 at the time, and we say, hey, let's fight them. Let's fight them legit. Let's have a good fight because this is probably the only plan. This is probably the only legit PvP we're gonna have till transfers. Because at the time, we didn't think we were actually gonna go and fight Deja Vu, which is obviously what ends up happening. But instead, one of the guys, his name is Epic Venoms, decided to say, hey, I'm just gonna blue tag them. You guys attack them. We're gonna blue tag. And I'm gonna rocket and blow their wall up and send my guys in there. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. Baby Yoda got blue tagged by them. And unfortunately, I guess you could say we helped in that because we still participated in raiding them. We ended up raiding their one base legit. Uh, and then Epic Venoms and the Deja Vu guys ended up just blue tagging their cave and running in there and taking all their stuff and claiming the cave. It put a sour taste in our mouth and it made us look at them as, okay, we can't trust these guys because these are these kinds of players. A few more weeks go by, a couple more weeks go by, and there's kind of like some Cold War beef. We end up running Alpha Ascension. They're trying to sneak their way in there, and and obviously we didn't let them in, so they got pissed about that. So it kind of put some bad blood, kind of started a Cold War because we were the first tribe to run Alpha Ascension on the server, etc. We did that before the Mega Tribe on our server. And then a week after that goes by, they end up getting incited on the server. And I believe this was the time when Pruitt made the decision to no longer say 2009 was his server, if I'm correct. Uh, but they were still part of Deja Vu. They were just, from what I understand at the time, when I was told, was basically this server is no longer going to be a quote unquote Deja server anymore, because I guess Pruitt couldn't hold the 3 servers that he initially planned to hold. Um, in this, which, not surprised, is pretty hard holding 3 servers, like especially on day one transfers, especially if you probably don't have like a good leadership enough to spread that wide of many servers, right? So, anyways, at that point, Deja, before they end up quote unquote not being part of the main Deja tribe anymore, they ended up holding an artifact, and that's kind of what started the beef, because they wanted to hold, I believe it was the Cunning artifact. I think that's the one that's located in Heart Underwater. I think that's the one it was. And they didn't want to give that one to us. So once that happened, as a tribe, we made the decision. We said, you know what? We would rather get wiped by these guys than be basically someone's bitch on the server and ask for artifacts. So we ended up going. We ended up having a fight with Deja Vu, or Deja Vu's beta tribe, whatever it was. Whatever it was at the time, because obviously those guys were still recruited in the tribe, because the people that decided to leave the server and go to the main Deja Vu server of 2024 were still recruited. We ended up attacking them. They ended up having more numbers than us, obviously, because, well, they had more players than us, regardless of the fact. And basically, the Deja Vu members that stayed on 2009 were the members of Deja Vu that basically didn't want to lose everything they worked for. So if I remember correctly, when I was talking to one of the leaders at the time, they said they came to like this agreement that they would still be part of the tribe, but Deja is not going to be responsible for what happens on the server. Basically, if I understand everything correctly, that's what it was. So pretty much, quote unquote, I guess you can say the bad players were left on 2009, because really they were really bad. I'm not even trying to be toxic. They were actually garbage. We wiped so many of their full developed bases in one day. In less than 12 hours, we wiped 6 base locations. We wiped the ice bridge. We wiped them off of, I can't remember, wiped them off like they're a beta tribe they had built on that weird place near the, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what you would call it, where sand meets snow. We wiped those guys. We wiped their big volcano TP easy, like in 30 seconds. I wish my guys recorded it. We ended up wiping them off Swamp Plat. We ended up pushing them out of the Ice Cave entrance. We ended up pushing them out of a bunch of spots. We ended up pushing deep into Hunter that same exact night and wiped them out of Hunter Cave. And then pretty much the only thing that was left was Heart Underwater, which we took care of the next day. So after that, I posted a video about why Mega Tribes suck. And then that really started the beef with Deja Vu, because they didn't like that I called them out like that on the spot, which I don't blame them. They ended up joining my stream, calling me like all the racist names you could think of for some reason, being super toxic, super negative, talking all this smack. And obviously we entertained the smack talk because it kind of built up hype. You know what I mean? I'm not really a keyboard warrior or the kind of person to really sit there and talk shit to people over the internet. But at the time on my stream, I was like, you know what? If we're going to be toxic, let me be toxic back. Let me make this interesting. And I want you guys to think of it as building up hype for a fight, because a lot of people were actually excited for this to go down. Like, I had a lot of people in my DM saying, bro, this is going to be so epic. You're going to actually fight a Mega Tribe, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be cool. And then obviously a lot of people were rooting for Deja, because they were like, yeah, I get those guys. They're trash, blah, blah, blah. And vice versa. It went back and forth. The smack talk was on both sides. But anyways, after that happens, we end up having a very big insight happen to our server. And we had this weird relationship, not with us, but these two people had this weird relationship in the tribe. I won't say names, but they were IRL friends. And basically, one of the IRL friends got mad at the other friend, and they ended up shooting rockets at our whole Easy Underwater, destroying our entire crafting station, destroying our entire war room, making us lose our best BPs. Like, literally, we had god tier BPs, like such good. We had, like, to put in perspective, we had a Mastercraft Fabi BP that had almost 400 Dura, 257 damage, and it only costed 1,000 polymer to make. So when we crafted those things, those Fabbies were capped with between 5 to 600 Dura. It was insane. And for 1,000 poly, that is not expensive at all. I know ideally people really want, the J-Mans that are between like the 6 to 800 polymer to craft. I get that, but that MC was just so good. That's like the one BP I remember because I was like, oh, bro, just a cracked Fabi that's capped that has like 600 Dura. That's amazing. But anyways, that ends up happening, and we end up losing quite literally half the tribe. So we go from being about a 30, mid 30-ish active tribe to all the way down to 15 people in one night. And then we had another event that happened with one of our guys in the leadership where he went and he built an entire tech vac base, a PvE vac base, all out of tech. When we told everybody in the tribe we're not going to do personals, we're just going to do community. We're going to have a war room where you can get everything you want, flak, weapons, saddles. And we were doing that. We were making saddles, we were making flak, we were putting it in there, blah, blah, blah. And so we told people no personals because we don't want it's the start of ARC. Like ideally you should consolidate in the beginning. You should everybody working together on the same goals, working to grind the same gear, etc. so you can be ready as a tribe. And then after you probably get set up, then personals aren't a big deal. But we don't have anything. You don't want people putting like everything personal locked up and hidden away, because when you're starting on a new server, waiting on transfers, you don't know when it's going to happen. You want to make sure you know exactly what you have on hand, how many guns you have, how much C4 you have, how much rockets you have, how much ARB you have, etc., how much LE you have. You want to make sure you're accounted for all that stuff so you're prepared when shit hits the fan. But anyways, that ends up happening. A lot of people lose their stuff, and then this guy on the council ends up going and making a tech vac base, which ruins a lot of people's morale and ruins a lot of people's faith in our council. And then we ended up, I think, making a bad decision and not kicking him from the tribe, because a lot of people in the tribe would have been like, man, if that was one of us, we would have gotten kicked for sure. And at that point, we lost another half of our player base, so we were down to 8 to 5 people logging in every day for the last 4 weeks of transfers. We were lucky to get 8 people, honestly. It was mainly like 5 for the last 4 weeks. So the last 4 weeks of transfers, before transfers, we really got no progress done. The base stays stagnant. There was really no progression. People were just basically just playing to raise, not playing to farm. We were basically running boss fights to maintain Ellie and keep the server jennies going. All right, that's what ended up happening. And then at that point, at about the 2 to 3 week marker, at about the 2 week marker of the server basically being dead, we ended up reaching out to friends that we knew. Some of those friends being friends in BOS, some of those being friends in Boxbox, and some of those being friends in B and G. And we basically talked to the leaders, and I personally like split the tribe into 3 groups in a sense, and told my one friend, said, hey, you go talk to BOS, take your guys, take your gear, take your loot, and go over there. Our council guys was going with Boxbox, and then our other guy, his name is Red, he was taking all of his crew to B and G. And that right there was really the end of server 2009 before it even happened. Everybody on the server came to the agreement, though, that we're going to defend the server when transfers happen, because honestly, because obviously like my video talked a lot of shit to Deja, so it wouldn't be right in my eyes to sit there and abandon the server without giving them a proper chance to like attack us and show us what they got and defend. And they did a good job. They did good. They were organized, they coordinated, they pushed well, they played well. So GG's to Deja Vu, good job. We ended up playing like bots in the beginning, I'll admit, because realistically, when I look back at it, they would have never dropped the tower on Carno if we would have just switched the turret settings to survivors only. But unfortunately, in the heat of the battle, my brain was not thinking until we lost the first tower. Because when we lost the first tower, I was like, okay, we're doing something wrong here. We're severely outnumbered, 17 versus 53. What can I do to change this to make this better? And that's when my big brain clicked on to switch it to survivors only. So anyways, we end up defending. We end up defending them day one. I end up going to sleep. I wake up and I see that two of the towers are torn down off Carno. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I thought we were gonna like keep the server up and defend it to the last foundation. Cause that's kind of like what we agreed on, right? Um, but the leadership of the bigger tribes of Box and B and G, uh, basically were like, hey, there's no point in defending this server. You guys only have like 5 people playing. We're gonna have to bring all of our guys to help defend this server. So just tear it down and join. And I wake up, two of the towers are decomped on Carno. Deja ends up sending a little tech cube fob to Easy Underwater. Nothing crazy. It was like 3 vacs. They were just coming for a troll, obviously, just to like see what they could do. That same night, they end up tearing down the Easy Underwater. I find out from my friend that supposedly Easy Underwater is taken down, and there's like 10 turrets protecting it. So basically, Easy Underwater is emptied. They took all the loot out. They got all their tames out. They took all the turrets. They took all the ARB, etc. Everything was taken out of the cave. Um, Hunter Ice Cave was already completely taken down. Carno was already completely taken down by day two, day three. Like, and the only thing left on our server was Pack Cave, which Pack Cave is not our cave. Pack Cave is a tribe called BCM who actually ended up merging into us because Gang pulled up to our server, and that tribe was also super inactive. And the whole time we were trying to get them to merge into us. I do believe that if they would have merged, I think the tribe and the server would still be there. Uh, because basically they were about a group of 10 to 15 people, but similar to us, they went super inactive. They basically had 1 or 2 guys playing for the last 4 weeks of transfers, and basically, I will just say like Gang basically wiped them. We ended up coming and saving them, making them merge into us. So we ended up finally getting them to merge when basically their entire outside was gone, and they were just basically pushed inside at the drop. At that point, BCM quit, and I'm not too sure, but I think Deja ended up just finishing the Pack Cave. I think on day 4 or 5 after transfers, they ended up just wiping it. Because I got a DM in one of my videos saying what happened to your Pack Cave, where's your Pack Cave? And Pack Cave was never our cave, but I remember that we ended up merging after Gang pulled up. And I remember hearing them say like, yeah, they're at the drop down choke. So they were basically like in the cave, at that point. So I'm pretty sure Deja just went and offline the cave, I imagine, got in. But at that point, nobody's playing on 2009. Everyone left or everyone quit. Everyone's playing in their other mega tribes. I think the only cave we have left is Hunter Cave, but Hunter Cave is just up because basically they're just using it as a farm slash PvP server at this point. That's all it is. It's basically just a PvP at Hunter Cave and a farm while they can until the server goes down. No one's making bullets for it. No one's doing anything for it. So that cave will definitely be gone soon. But anyways, that's basically the lore story and kind of the downfall of 2009. It was a very fun experience. I had a blast playing. Uh, and yeah, I wish things went differently, to be honest. I would have rather stayed in Alpha Tribe and fought. But like I said, I'm not quitting Ark. I'll be starting a new chapter in Ark, so you guys will have to stay tuned to see where I go next. Uh, I really wish we would have stayed as an Alpha Tribe, but in reality, I think the situation is, we're a lot older now. We're no longer like kids in high school, or just graduated high school, so we have so much free time. We're a little bit older now. We're in our 20s. We're adults. We got jobs, girlfriends, family, relations, etc. So we can't play Ark that much and lead that much like we used to when we were kids. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was a long video, but I feel like you guys might find it entertaining hearing all the info. So I will catch you guys in the next video later, and thanks for watching.